For our daily cancellation today, we turn to a woman named Ash Putnam. She has gone viral with a video complaining about the trials and tribulations she's faced while trying to find a job. And most recently, she says she was turned down by TJ Maxx, which certainly has to be a tough pill to swallow. Based on my limited experience with TJ Maxx, it would seem that they hire pretty much anybody with a pulse. Now, granted, that means that TJ Maxx employees are held to a higher standard than we hold, let's say, the President of the United States. But still, it should be a relatively easy hill for any prospective applicant to climb. But sadly, Ash Putnam found that her TJ Maxx dreams were crushed due to one factor that becomes very obvious the second you look at her. Watch.
So I wanted to come on here and talk about something that is really starting to annoy me. So I applied for a job at TJ Maxx a few weeks ago, and they denied my application. They couldn't even call me. They just sent me some automated email. So I went in today and I was like, so what was the reason I didn't get hired? And she was like, oh, you just don't have enough experience. There was candidates that had more experience than you. And, I asked her if it was about my tattoos, obviously, because I know a lot of places don't like tattoos. She said that wasn't the reason. I don't feel like that's true, but whatever, I'll leave it at that. So I'm just wondering how teenagers and young adults who haven't had a job before, how are they supposed to get employed? And, I hate that my tattoos are such a defining factor for me getting a job or not. Just because I have tattoos doesn't mean I'm not going to be a good worker. I do not understand that at all. Because quite literally some of the most smart, intelligent people I've ever met are people with tattoos and piercings.
Well then, ma'am, I think you need to meet more people. Though I understand it may be difficult to meet people when you have not just one, but two giant images of demons emblazoned permanently on your body for everyone to see, which means presumably that she got the first giant demon and then walked around with it for a bit and then said to herself, you know what would really improve my life? A second demon. Those along with the face tattoos and face piercings and nose ring and everything else, she looks very much like a pincushion that a disturbed child has scribbled all over. So let me offer just two very brief thoughts about this. First of all, it's become increasingly clear that thanks largely to the younger generations, the internet has become a place primarily for people to whine about their lives. Well, it's primarily a place for porn, as it's turned out, but second is the whining, which is a kind of misery porn. And it's true that there has always been whining on the internet, just as there's always been porn, unfortunately. But if you go not very far back in time, even just 5 years ago or so, you'll find that it used to be much more common for people to err on the opposite extreme. One of the major criticisms of social media was that people used it to project an unrealistically positive, sort of put together, confident version of themselves. They made their lives seem much better than their lives actually were in real life. And of course, you still hear this criticism sometimes of social media, but it's not as common as it used to be. And that's because increasingly, social media has become a tool for amplifying your complaints and your grievances and your general objections to the realities of life. People are trying to, present themselves as put upon and weak and their lives as pitiable and full of suffering. Well, I think we were better off before. It is healthier to project an unrealistically happy image of your life than an overly dour and negative one. It's healthier for the person posting the content and for everyone else consuming it. At least that's aspirational. At least if everyone is putting stuff out that makes their life seems great, it could have an aspirational effect at least. The instinct to complain to the world about your life is far more toxic than the desire to make the world envious of your life. Neither option is particularly healthy, but the former is significantly worse, I would say. And now the internet is full of videos like this where a woman, for some reason, has decided to inform millions of people that she can't get a job at TJ Maxx. That's an embarrassing piece of information that we don't need to know and shouldn't know and wouldn't know if you didn't decide to shout it into the digital bullhorn. Rose Sparks is revolutionizing the way men tackle challenges in the bedroom. This dual-action prescription merges the powerhouse ingredients found in Viagra and Cialis into one formidable treatment. But it's not merely about what's inside these tablets. It's about their mode of delivery. Sparks leverages the benefits of sublingual administration, meaning the tablet dissolves onto your tongue. This method allows for rapid absorption directly into the bloodstream, bypassing the digestive system. The result, a quicker onset of action, 15 minutes on average. This significantly reduces the wait time typically associated with traditional pills. Moreover, the longevity of Cialis's active component means it works for up to 36 hours post-dose. With Sparks, spontaneity is back on the table. Connect with a provider at ro.co/Walsh to see if Sparks is right for you. ro.co/Walsh. Again, that's ro.co/Walsh. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Only available if prescribed after an online consultation with a provider. Second, about the tattoos. I would like to think that I don't need to explain why it's a very bad idea to get tattoos on your face and neck, but that self-destructive practice is becoming more and more common, so apparently I do need to explain it. So I'll just say this, if you're considering going down this road, you should know something. When the rest of us see somebody with tattoos anywhere above the collarbone, we automatically assume that the person who with those tattoos in those places has three things to go along with all the ink. 1, daddy issues, 2, a meth habit, and 3, at least one STD. In fact, not only do we assume that, but those are the only things we see when we look at you. The tattoo becomes a barrier between you and the rest of society. We can't engage with you or have a conversation without seeing the tattoos. The tattoos scream at us, and we feel burdened by trying to pretend we don't notice them. If you have face tattoos and you're talking to somebody without face tattoos, the only thing that person without the face tattoos wants to do is say to you, okay, hang on a second. Why do you have that shit all over your face? And usually the other person will not say that because they want to be polite, but it takes great effort to prevent themselves from blurting it out. And even when they're looking at you, like they don't even know, it's like usually you want to look at someone, you want to make eye contact when you're talking to somebody, but you got all this stuff all over your face. So we're looking up at all the stuff. We're like, what is that? Why did you get that? Why did you get that on your forehead? What was it about that? What does she have on her forehead? It's like a sun or something? Is that design so amazing that you want to have it on your forehead forever? You want it to be the first thing anyone sees when they look at you forever? Really? Is it that great of a design? I've never seen a design that was that amazing. But this is the thought process that we're having while we're talking to you. And it's quite exhausting. And that's why by having those scribbles all over your face and neck, you have made yourself unemployable in most industries. You are even unemployable at TJ Maxx, where they expect you to at least keep your meth habit to yourself. And really, I'll say this. I'll go even further, and I'll say that tattoos in general are a dumb idea. And I say that elephant in the room as somebody with 2 tattoos myself. And fortunately, my tattoos are on my arms and can easily be covered. I also don't need to cover them because there is no dress code for podcasters. And my tattoos are Christian symbols, not just random designs, so I don't find them embarrassing. I'm actually quite fortunate because way back when I got mine done, back in those bad old days, the big trend for white guys in their early 20s was the tribal armband. Advertising not so much that you smoke meth or grew up fatherless, but rather that you listen to Nickelback, which some would say is even more shameful. And I was smart enough to avoid falling into that trap, at least that much. But even so, here's what I'll say. If I never got any tattoos, I wouldn't go get them now. Like I wouldn't look at myself now and say, you know what, I need a tattoo. I need something permanent. I need some design permanently on my body forever. I wouldn't do that because nobody regrets not getting a tattoo. Like that is nobody's life regret. Lots of people regret getting them. The best you can hope for as you grow older, if you get tattoos, I'm just telling young people this now as someone old and grizzled, at the age of 37, is that the best you can hope for is that you'll sort of be indifferent to your tattoos as you grow older. Perhaps not actively humiliated by them, but also not terribly excited about them. You're not going to wake up every day, look down at your tattoo, and then say, man, thank God I have this on my body. You might say that for like the first few weeks or even months, but think about how you'll feel a decade later or 20 years later. Like the charm wears off. And the point is that nobody's life has ever been improved by having an image permanently drawn on it. Lots of people's lives have been hampered by it, on the other hand. And if that does happen, you only have yourself to blame, just as our friend Ash Putnam, sadly, can only blame herself for her predicament. And that is why she is today, I must say, canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.